Hello YouTube and welcome back to another video. Tonight I am talking about what do you have to say. So what do you have to say? What is your musical aspiration? What are you trying to express? Where does your musical inspiration come from? And I think it's important for every artist to whittle down their entirety into a few key words, a few motivations, and go from there. Now, personally, I feel like I need to figure this out. It's something that's important to figure out what drives me and where I come from when I play. It may not be the same for you, but I feel like it is very important to understand the lineage and the root framework from which your music is drawn. Now, I've always gravitated towards music, and I've always been a musician, but I haven't always known why. And I'm aware of all the symptoms associated with me being a musician, but I'm not necessarily intimately aware of why exactly I play music. And sometimes it's in my blood isn't a good enough answer. You know, music is who I am, but why? Why is music who I am? Why am I a musician? Why are you a musician? Why do you feel like you have to play every day? Why do you feel like you have to make music every day? Where does that come from? Why do you need to make music every day? I know I'm asking the same question over and over and over again, but there's got to be a crux there somewhere. There's got to be a center to this Tootsie Pop. And I keep on licking and trying to find that center. And I feel like that journey really helps me understand my music better and it helps me understand myself better. When I play, I want to be fully invested in the music. And if I don't know the why, for some reason, it makes it harder. It makes it harder for me to be fully invested in the moment. And there are a lot of people out there who don't have any issues with this whatsoever. They're okay with it and they're ready to move on, but not me. So this is simultaneously an expression / confession and a call to question yourself. Where does your inspiration to play music come from? Why do you make music? And what do you have to say? Are you playing music because someone told you to? Are you playing music because you think you have to? Do you think that somebody else is telling you that you have to? Are you playing music because you have a message to share? And if you are sharing a message, I'd be curious to see what message you might have to share. And if please leave a comment below and let me know where you're coming from as a musician. And if you don't take music this seriously, there's no problem in that. If what you have to say is just expressing fun and expressing enthusiasm for life, then go for it. For me, I just happen to be a little bit more complicated. So I'm trying to figure things out. Where does my desire to play music come from? Where does your desire to play music come from? By the way, these might sound like scary questions, but I am by no means disheartened or looking to walk away from music in any way, shape, or form. I know I'm a musician, and that's who I am. That's here to stay. But I feel like investigating the why, understanding myself fundamentally, is crucial to taking another step forward in my artistic expression. And this is just how I work. A lot of you might not even think in these terms or get any value out of this. This might just be like, oh, whatever. That's just Brandon working on whatever he's working on. And if that's the case and this is therapeutic for me, then great. But I figure I might as well share where I am, see if you guys get any value out of it. What do you have to say? What do you have to say? Are your experiences worth sharing? Are you ready to share your experiences? What perspective do you have that is unique? And I'm not saying that you don't have a unique perspective. I'm asking you a question that you maybe want to ask yourself. Is what I've experienced worth sharing? I personally think so. Simply because I'm different than you. And I have a different take on everything. And I think that's worth sharing. So lately, I feel like my music has been more tailored towards expressing an experience and less about the music itself. I want to share vivid sensations with my listeners. And that doesn't mean theory, that doesn't mean harmony, that doesn't mean... I feel like they all sync up together to become this unified experience. Because it's just a sound representation of whatever message you're trying to convey, just like my words are. You just happen to understand my words because you practiced it more. So music, I feel, transcends all of that and kind of dodges around all of our preconceived notions of what communication is supposed to be and goes straight into the heart of things. And when you're expressing on that wavelength, you have the opportunity to be more vulnerable and more vivid. Which brings me to a new self-promotion thing. I don't know if you've seen, but on my channel I have a video called The Man in the Trench Coat. I had already uploaded this, but I redid the upload so that you can watch it in 4K if your monitor supports it. I'm still figuring out the rendering to YouTube thing, so it wasn't quite as crisp as I would have liked. The footage looks really, really good on my computer, so I tried to share it so that you would see that same footage when you opened it up on YouTube. This video is a short musical selection that I wrote many, many years ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago at this point, and I've had it floating in my head forever. And it was my first foray into the idea of music as imagery, representing a concept or representing a scene, representing a person. This one's called The Man in the Trench Coat. And there's a little description in there, and I'm going to read it to you. Okay. Here we go. The Man in the Trench Coat. So this is called, here we go. He waits in the cafe, newspaper in hand, eyes darting to the window for a clue. Now, it's not necessarily the most verbose description of this song, but I wanted to begin to set the scene for this music so that you had just a seed planted in your head. You know, immediately my mind goes to film noir, maybe 1940s, black and white. That was a suggestion that somebody made that I do this video in black and white because it really suited the music. And I really enjoyed experimenting with light in this. I tried to get a pitch black background and do everything so that it looked like my body came from nowhere, came from the darkness, and you just got these little snapshots of me. And it's a very creative project, and I don't know that I was really thinking about harmony when I was writing this tune. But what I had to say was, I don't know if there's a message to this. I don't know if there is a moral of the story, but what I'm sharing here is a vision I had, an experience that I had in my mind. I created this story about a guy, and I wanted to share in the music the complexities of his nature, because not only is he some sort of mysterious figure, but there's a certain warmth to him. But there's this darkness and almost evil undertone. So he's this really complex character, and I wanted to portray that vision that I had. So I wouldn't even say that I had this idea about a man in a trench coat first, and then I wrote the music. What happened was I was putting my hands down on the piano as I was writing it, and I played the first chord, and I started working through it, and I was like, oh, I'm literally painting a picture of this thing with my hands. And I'm seeing it in my mind's eye as it's developing. So all I have to do is to yield to it and try not to tinker with it too much. So I'm not even sure that this video has any real flow to it or has any moral, other than ask yourself some of these hard questions so that you know where you come from when you play. Because when you know where you come from and you know who you are, nothing's going to stop you from expressing yourself. Nothing is going to get in your way. With that, I am wrapping things up here, and I implore you to subscribe to my channel so you see more of these videos. I put out a new video just about every night. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any comments about this video, if you are willing to share some of your experience with what you're trying to say or communicate when you're playing, please share with me. Or if you have any ideas about some videos you might want to see in the future, leave a comment below. With that said, I wish you the best and happy practicing. Thank you, and good night.